Good morning, guys. Long time no see. We're going to try and record this video one more time, and hopefully I don't have to edit it because I don't got the time for that. So the other day I was watching Coach D Free. She's awesome. You need to go check her out. And she was going over Toni Morris's really awful talk about the money situation. You know, everybody needs to give something. I don't care if you've got nothing. Find a way, give something, basically. Now, they always said that if it ever came down to begging for money, that it was time to close shop. Well, technically, I guess he's not begging. He's just outrightly demanding, which is, I guess, angry begging. I don't know. Technically, I guess it's not the same. It's still you have the opportunity to choose to comply. That's what I'm saying. It's just angry begging. Yeah, but what kind of ticked me off about that, side note, by the way, this isn't what this video is about, side note. What ticked me off about that was that, you know, if we don't feel like people who are wealthy and have the means are giving enough, that's none of our business. Like, that's their choice to make. But if we don't have enough for ourselves, it doesn't matter. You need to find a way to give something to the society, which is completely culty in my humble opinion anyway. But it didn't get lost on me that this talk was probably being developed and aired about the same time that they were finally onboarded to the Australian Royal Commission. The thing with that is that it's so hard to sue the Watchtower, in part because some of the means to establish a rightful and punitive amount and value to that lawsuit is based on not just what happened, the cost to the victim, monetarily, emotionally, financially, long-term effects. It's not just that, but part of it is based on what the value of the defendant is worth. They have to make sure it's punitive, but not completely out of bounds. So there's rules based on where you are, what happened, and you know, all the different things. And part of it is no one knows what Watchtower's worth. But with the Australian Royal Commission, part of the onboarding process is detailing their financial assets. They're obligated to disclose their financial assets, which is kind of interesting to me because, you know, the rumor was that they were liquidating a lot of stuff in Australia, trying to minimize their financial assets. But, you know, rumors are rumors. I still haven't even confirmed for sure with the Australian Royal Commission that they have in fact actually signed on and it's not just some social media letter. But yeah, the timing is odd. Now, why that matters in Australia? Because, you know, they have the redress scheme that they finally joined, is that the redress scheme is an option. I don't know if you knew that or not, but the redress scheme is an option. It's an option for victims to get some kind of support monetarily to deal with the trauma that was their abuse. And it's standardized in such a way that, you know, while having to relate your trauma will always be traumatic, it's as kind as it can possibly be because it removes the ability of the Watchtower to manipulate hide and intimidate the victim. So you can go that route if you don't want to have to deal with that drama and trauma that would be a lawsuit. But you can still do a lawsuit if you wanted to go through it and make a point. And now, with the redress scheme, you know what they're worth. If you're in Australia, please keep that in mind, because I'm pretty sure you're still allowed to go through that lawsuit. And now they're trying to compensate for what they could be losing and to prepare for that, because they know that they've created victims. They know they've created victims. They know that there are people strong enough out there to give up their entire families willingly to try and save someone else. They know people are out there willing to go through this. And they did it to themselves, and they know it. Don't tell me that talk did not come out because they're trying to prepare for a lot of money being lost. It's not like they're printing a bunch of books. It's not like they need as many, hard labor hands on board to do all the things that they usually do. It's going to be largely media based. It's shifting more towards media based. Like, that technology is not cheap. That training is not necessarily cheap, but it could be shared. It's an easily shared skill. I mean, really, as an outsider's perspective, and I'm a business owner outside of my normal job, very small business owner. But in my mind, their money should be kind of balancing out a little bit. That talk should not have been necessary. That mean demand, that mean, heartless, shameful demand should not have been necessary. But they just got their hands stuck in this little trap with the Australian Royal Commission. And they're trying to compensate for what they had to give up and compromise on. Because if they lost their their financial status, the exemptions as a religious entity and the 501c3 type stuff, the Australian version, if they lost that would have been bad. It was bad enough that they were willing to take that risk because they know they can pull their punches and, the more financially stable and protected United States. They can pull their punches in Europe, at least for now, because some of the countries in Europe are also doing their own investigation. Like, for now, they can try and compensate and try and get ahead of these things. And if they're required to disclose their financial assets in Australia now because they're part of the redress scheme, I'm sure Australia is going to find it very interesting that they're shipping a lot of their money overseas. They're donating it to their sister company. Meanwhile, their victims are in trouble. I'm sure the Australian Royal Commission is going to, want to take a look at that at some point. But right now, they're trying to cover bases. What's y'all's thoughts? I got to get into work here soon, so peace out, y'all.